The security guard's voice was shaking when he called me. "Ma'am, you need to get to the parking lot now." I was 7 months pregnant, just finished seeing my baby girl on the ultrasound. Her perfect little face, her tiny hands. The doctor said everything looked beautiful. I had no idea that while I was watching my daughter's heartbeat on that monitor, someone was destroying my car in the parking garage below. Every window smashed, tires slashed, words carved into the metal. Home wrecker, baby trap, he's mine. The police showed me the security footage. A blonde woman, designer clothes, methodical, calculated. She even took selfies with the wreckage. I recognized her immediately. My husband's assistant, my husband's mistress. But here's what she didn't know, what my cheating husband didn't know, what nobody knew until it was too late. I'm not just any pregnant wife whose car got destroyed. I'm Police Commissioner Robert Sullivan's daughter. And what happened next? Let's just say some people learn the hard way that actions have consequences. This is the story of how I went from crying in a destroyed nursery to standing in a courtroom watching everything fall apart for the people who tried to destroy me. My name is Elena, and this is what happens when you target the wrong woman. Let's begin. The security guard's voice crackled through her phone. "Ma'am, you need to get to the parking lot. Now." Elena Harper pressed one hand against her lower back and shifted her weight. 7 months pregnant meant everything hurt. Her feet, her hips, her ribs where the baby kicked relentlessly. She'd just spent 45 minutes in the obstetrician's office, watching her daughter's perfect profile on the ultrasound screen, listening to the rapid thump of her heartbeat. "Is something wrong?" Elena asked. "Just, please come to level 3, quickly." The line went dead. Elena's stomach twisted. Not the baby. A different kind of dread, the kind that made her throat tight and her hands shake. She waddled through the hospital corridor. Other pregnant women sat in the waiting area, hands on their bellies, peaceful expressions on their faces. Elena had looked like that an hour ago. Now her heart hammered against her ribs. The parking garage was dim and cool. Her breath came faster. Not from exertion, from the security guard's expression as he waited by the elevator. His face told her everything before she saw it. "Mrs. Harper, I'm so sorry. We called the police." Elena turned the corner. Her silver SUV sat in its usual spot, or what remained of it. Every window smashed into glittering fragments across the concrete. Deep gouges carved through the paint on the hood. Someone had keyed words into the metal. Home wrecker, whore, thief. Red paint covered the windshield. Thick, deliberate, like blood. All 4 tires slashed, rubber peeling away from the rims. The car seat. The infant car seat Derek had insisted they install 3 weeks early. Shredded, foam and fabric torn apart with what looked like a knife. Lena's knees buckled. The security guard caught her elbow. "Careful, ma'am, let me get you a chair." She couldn't look away, couldn't process what she was seeing. Who would do this? Who hated her enough to destroy not just her car, but the baby's seat? The seat meant for her daughter? The baby kicked. Hard, sharp, like she could sense her mother's terror. "We have it on camera," the guard said quietly. "The whole thing. The police are on their way." Elena pulled out her phone. Her hands shook so badly she almost dropped it. She unlocked the screen, stared at Derek's name and her contacts. Locked the phone. Her thumb hovered over the power button. Unlocked it again. She couldn't press his name. Couldn't call him. Because somewhere deep in her chest, beneath the shock and fear and disbelief, a small voice whispered the truth she'd been ignoring for months. "You already know who did this. You already know why." Sirens wailed in the distance. Getting closer. Elena sank into the chair the security guard brought. Her maternity dress stretched tight across her belly. The baby kicked again. Slower this time, as if she'd exhausted herself with that burst of activity. "I'm sorry," Elena whispered to her daughter. "I'm so sorry." 2 police officers emerged from the elevator, a man and a woman. The woman was young, maybe mid-30s, with sharp eyes and dark hair pulled into a tight bun. She took one look at Elena's swollen belly in the destroyed car, and her jaw went rigid. "Ma'am, I'm Detective Sarah Morrison. This is Officer Marcus Brennan. How far along are you?" 7 months. Jesus Christ. Detective Morrison turned to her partner. Who does this to a pregnant woman? Officer Brennan was already photographing the damage. The shattered windows, the slashed tires, the words carved into the hood. He crouched down to examine the baby car seat, and Elena saw his face harden. They destroyed the car seat, he said. This wasn't random vandalism. This was personal. Detective Morrison pulled out a notepad. Mrs. Harper, I need to ask you some questions. Do you have any idea who might have done this? Elena opened her mouth, closed it. Her brain felt slow, sluggish, like moving through water. No, she whispered. Then louder, maybe, I don't know. Take your time. The security guard approached with his tablet. Detective, I pulled the footage. You need to see this. They huddled around the screen. Elena couldn't see from where she sat, but she watched Detective Morrison's expression shift from professional concern to cold fury. When was this? The detective asked. 2 hours ago, right around 11:30 in the morning. 2 hours ago, when Elena had been in the ultrasound room watching her daughter suck her thumb on the monitor. When the technician had smiled and said everything looked perfect. When Elena had felt for just a moment like maybe everything would be okay. Detective Morrison walked over and crouched in front of Elena. Her eyes were kind but direct. Mrs. Harper, I'm going to show you something. It might be upsetting. She turned the tablet around. The footage was crystal clear. Timestamp, 11:27 a.m. A woman walked into frame. Young, maybe mid-20s, blonde hair in a high ponytail, designer workout clothes, oversized sunglasses. She wasn't frantic, wasn't emotional. She moved with purpose, methodical, calculated. She pulled a tire iron from her expensive leather tote bag, smashed the driver's side window, then the passenger side, then the back windows. Glass exploded with each impact. The woman didn't flinch. She spray painted the windshield, bright red. Then she pulled out keys and carved into the hood, leaning close, taking her time with each letter. When she finished, she pulled out her phone, adjusted her ponytail, posed next to the destroyed car, smiled, took a selfie, then another, and another, different angles, like she was proud of her work. Elena's vision blurred. Her heart pounded so hard she thought she might pass out. Do you know her? Detective Morrison asked gently. Elena couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The woman on the screen turned toward the camera for just a moment, and even with the sunglasses, Elena knew that face, knew that smile, knew exactly who she was. That's my husband's assistant, Elena whispered. Then the truth crashed over her like ice water. That's my husband's mistress. The words hung in the air, real now, undeniable. Detective Morrison's expression didn't change, but Elena saw something flicker in her eyes, understanding, recognition, maybe even sympathy. What's her name? Brittany Kane. And your husband's name? Derek Harper. He's a real estate developer. Officer Brennan was still photographing the scene. The tire iron lay discarded near the front wheel. Brittany hadn't even tried to hide it. Mrs. Harper, I need to be honest with you, Detective Morrison said. This isn't just vandalism. This is criminal mischief in the first degree, possibly aggravated harassment. The fact that you're pregnant, that she destroyed property clearly intended for a child, this is serious. Elena nodded numbly. The baby kicked, softer now, like she was tired. I need you to call your husband, the detective continued. We'll need his statement, and I need to know if you feel safe going home. I don't know. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Elena's phone buzzed in her hand, a text message from Derek. Where are you? I got a weird call from hospital security. Not are you okay? Not is the baby okay? Just confusion. Inconvenience. Elena stared at the message. Her hands had stopped shaking. Something cold and hard settled in her chest. Something that felt like clarity. She looked at Detective Morrison. When you called him, what did you tell him? We didn't call him. We called the number listed on your vehicle registration. That's your cell phone. So Derek had gotten a call from someone else. Hospital security, probably. Doing their job, notifying the registered owner's emergency contact. Elena looked back at the destroyed car, at the baby seat torn to shreds, at the words carved into metal. Home wrecker. Brittany Kane thought Elena was the other woman. Or she'd convinced herself of that, rewritten reality to make herself the victim and Elena the villain. I'll call him, Elena said, but I want to see the rest of that footage first. Detective Morrison nodded and handed her the tablet. There's more after the selfies. You should see it. Elena pressed play. Brittany finished taking photos, put her phone away, then she pulled something else from her bag. A can of spray paint, different color, bright pink. She spray painted the driver's seat door, big looping letters, baby trap. Then she walked around to the passenger side and wrote, "He's mine." She stepped back, surveyed her work, and laughed. Elena couldn't hear it, but she could see Brittany's head thrown back, shoulders shaking with amusement. Then Brittany blew a kiss at the car and walked away. Casual, like she'd just finished grocery shopping. The footage ended. Elena sat very still. The parking garage was quiet except for the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant rumble of traffic. "Mrs. Harper?" Detective Morrison's voice was gentle. "Are you okay?" Elena looked up. "No, but I will be." She unlocked her phone and called her husband. Derek answered on the third ring. "Where are you?" His voice was tense, clipped. "I got a call from hospital security about police at your car. Not, are you okay? Not, is the baby okay? Not, what happened?" Elena closed her eyes. The baby kicked, a gentle rolling movement, like she was turning for in her sleep. "Someone destroyed my car, Derek." Silence. Too long. The kind of silence that confirmed everything Elena had been afraid to admit for months. "What do you mean destroyed?" "I mean every window smashed, tires slashed, paint all over it, words carved into the hood." Another pause. Elena could hear him breathing, could almost see him calculating, figuring out what to say, how to manage this. "Jesus, Elena, that's terrible. It was probably just random vandalism. Some kids with nothing better to do. Don't worry, insurance will cover it." "I saw the security footage, Derek." The silence stretched longer this time. Security footage? It was Brittany. She heard him inhale sharply, then nothing. 5 seconds, 10, 15. "Who told you about Brittany?" Not, "There is no Brittany," not, "You're mistaken," not, "What are you talking about?" Just, "Who told you?" Confirmation. Admission. The truth Elena had been desperately hoping wasn't true. "The security camera told me about Brittany," Elena said. Her voice sounded strange to her own ears, calm, detached, like she was describing something happening to someone else. "She spent 20 minutes destroying my car. Then she took selfies with it. Then she spray painted that you're hers." "Elena, I can explain. I'm at the hospital parking garage with 2 police officers. They want to talk to you. Detective Sarah Morrison and Officer Marcus Brennan." "Police? Elena, you can't press charges. This is just a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Elena laughed. The sound surprised her, sharp, bitter. Not like her at all. "She destroyed the car seat, Derek. The car seat for our daughter." "I'll be right there." "No." The word came out harder than she intended. "Go home. I'll meet you there, after I'm done with the police." "Elena." She hung up. Detective Morrison was watching her carefully. "Are you sure you want to go home? We can arrange for you to stay somewhere else tonight." "I'm sure." Elena pushed herself to her feet. Her back screamed in protest. "I need to talk to him face to face." "Okay, but I want you to have my card." The detective handed her a business card. "If you feel unsafe at any point, you call me, day or night, understand?" Elena nodded and tucked the card into her purse. Officer Brennan finished his photographs and evidence collection. He'd bagged the tire iron, collected paint samples, taken measurements, and then notes. Professional, thorough. "We'll run the prints on the tire iron," he said, "though based on the video evidence, we already have everything we need." "What happens now?" Elena asked. "We file a report, get a warrant for Ms. Kane's arrest. Given the video evidence and the fact that you're pregnant, the DA will likely pursue this aggressively." Detective Morrison's voice was matter-of-fact. "This isn't a minor crime, Mrs. Harper. This is felony criminal mischief, potentially aggravated harassment. She could face serious jail time." Elena looked at her destroyed car one more time. Glass everywhere, metal twisted and gouged, paint dripping down like wounds. Good, she said quietly. Detective Morrison drove Elena home. The detective didn't ask questions, didn't try to fill the silence with meaningless small talk. Just drove, one hand on the wheel, occasionally glancing at Elena to make sure she was okay. They pulled up to the house Elena and Derek had bought 2 years ago, a modest colonial in a good neighborhood, white with blue shutters, a small front yard that Elena had planted with flowers last spring, before she got pregnant, before everything got complicated. You have my card, Detective Morrison said. Use it if you need to. Thank you. Elena walked up the front path. Her keys jingled as she unlocked the door. The house was quiet. Derek's car sat in the driveway, but he wasn't in the living room or kitchen. She found him in the nursery. He stood in the middle of the room, hands in his pockets, staring at the pale yellow walls. The white crib Elena had assembled by herself last week. The handmade mobile of clouds and stars that her mother had given her at the baby shower, Derek missed. I've been thinking, he said without turning around, maybe we should paint it a different color. Yellow is kind of boring. Elena set her purse on the dresser. Her hands were steady now, her mind clear, like the shock had burned away everything except the essential truth. How long? Elena, it's not what you think. How long have you been sleeping with Brittany? He turned. His face was carefully arranged into an expression of concern, regret. The face he probably practiced in the mirror when he rehearsed this conversation in his head. It just happened. I didn't plan it. You've been so focused on the pregnancy and I felt neglected, lonely. She was just there. Elena sat in the rocking chair, the one her grandmother had used, the one that would hold 3 generations of women in this family. She folded her hands over her belly. How long? Derek ran his hands through his hair, a gesture she used to find endearing. Now it just looked like what it was, a manipulation, a way to appear vulnerable and overwhelmed. Since the Christmas party, January. Elena did the math. January. She'd gotten pregnant in February. Valentine's Day weekend, specifically. Derek had taken her to that bed and breakfast in the Berkshires, made love to her with what she'd thought was genuine passion, told her he couldn't wait to start their family. He'd been cheating on her when they conceived their daughter. The room spun. Elena gripped the arms of the rocking chair. You were sleeping with her when we got pregnant. It didn't mean anything. It was just physical. Elena, you have to understand. She destroyed my car while I was getting an ultrasound of our daughter. She's confused, emotional. I tried to end things last week, and she didn't take it well. This is my fault for not being clearer with her. Elena stared at him, really looked at him. When had this stranger replaced the man she married? Or had he always been like this, and she'd just been too in love to see it? Get out. What? Get out of the nursery. I need to be alone. Elena, we need to talk about this. Now, he left. She heard his footsteps on the stairs. Heavy, angry, like she was the one being unreasonable. Elena sat in the rocking chair and looked around the room she'd created. Every detail chosen with such care. The soft rug under her feet, the blackout curtains. The bookshelf already filled with children's books her mother had collected over the years. She'd been building a nest while her husband built a lie. Her phone buzzed, a text from Rachel, her best friend. Just heard from Sarah Morrison. Are you okay? I'm coming over. Elena didn't respond. She stood up and walked to the kitchen. Her body moved on autopilot. Open the cabinet, pull out the dishes, the wedding china they never used, the everyday plates, the coffee mugs. She started reorganizing everything, taking each item out, wiping it down, putting it back in a different spot. Her hands moved steadily, precisely. This she could control. This made sense. The pregnancy vitamins went on the top shelf. Prenatal supplements next to them. Ginger tea for morning sickness. Crackers for when she couldn't keep anything else down. Evidence of how carefully she'd been growing their child while Derek had been growing a lie. She heard the front door open. Rachel's voice calling her name. In here. Rachel appeared in the kitchen doorway. She took one look at Elena standing surrounded by dishes and her face crumpled. Oh, honey. Elena kept reorganizing. Did you know? What? No, Elena, I swear to God, I had no idea. Everyone else probably did. Elena moved the coffee mugs to a different shelf. Everyone always knows except the wife. Stop. Rachel took the mug from Elena's hands and set it on the counter. Stop cleaning and look at me. Elena looked at her. Rachel's eyes were wet. I didn't know. I promise you, if I'd known, I would have told you immediately. You're my best friend. I would never let you. Her voice broke. I would never let you be hurt like this. Elena nodded. She believed her. Rachel had been her friend since nursing school, had been there through everything, would never lie to her. Where's Derek? Upstairs. In his office, on the phone with someone. Probably his lawyer or hers. Rachel pulled Elena into a hug, careful of her belly, gentle. Elena let herself be held, let herself feel for just a moment the full weight of what had happened. Then she stepped back, wiped her eyes, straightened her shoulders. I need to lie down. The baby's been kicking all day. I'll stay with you. Thank you. They went upstairs to the bedroom. Elena changed into comfortable clothes, maternity leggings and one of Derek's old college sweatshirts. It still smelled like him. She almost took it off, then decided she didn't care. She lay on the bed. Rachel sat in the chair by the window. What are you going to do? Rachel asked quietly. I don't know yet. Elena stared at the ceiling, but something. Her phone buzzed again. Detective Morrison, need you to come to the station tomorrow. Building a case against the vandal. Bring your husband if possible. Elena typed back. I'll be there. She set the phone down and closed her eyes. The baby kicked. A gentle reminder that whatever happened next, Elena wasn't alone. She had a daughter to protect, a daughter who deserved better than this. Sleep came slowly. When it did, Elena dreamed of shattered glass and red paint and a blonde woman laughing at the wreckage of her life. Morning light filtered through the curtains. Elena woke to an empty bed. She could hear Derek moving around downstairs, coffee maker gurgling, cabinet doors opening and closing. The baby kicked. Good morning, little one. Elena's back ached as she pushed herself upright. 7 months pregnant meant everything hurt all the time. Her hips, her ribs, her feet were so swollen she could barely wear shoes anymore. She walked to the bathroom, splashed cold water on her face, stared at herself in the mirror, dark circles under her eyes, skin pale, hair a mess. She looked exhausted, defeated. No, she straightened up. She wasn't defeated. She was pregnant and hurt and betrayed, but she wasn't defeated. When she came downstairs, Derek was sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop. He looked up when she entered. His expression was carefully neutral, like they were co-workers in a meeting. I made coffee, he said, decaf for you. I'm not drinking anything you made. His jaw tightened. Elena, we need to talk about this rationally. Rationally? She poured herself a glass of water. Okay, let's be rational. You've been cheating on me since January with your assistant, who is young enough to be your daughter. She's 25, that's not... You got me pregnant while you were sleeping with her. You missed my baby shower because you were probably with her. You've been lying to me for 8 months. I never lied. Lying by omission is still lying, Derek. Elena sat down across from him. And yesterday, while I was at my prenatal appointment, your mistress destroyed my car. Our car. The car with our daughter's car seat in it. I talked to Brittany last night. She's distraught. She thought you knew about us. She thought you were trying to trap me with the pregnancy. Elena laughed. The sound was sharp and cold. Trap you? We planned this pregnancy. We talked about it for months. I have the text messages where you begged me to stop taking birth control. That was before what? Before you decided you'd rather fuck a 25-year-old influencer? Derek flinched. Don't be crude. Crude. Elena set her washer glass down carefully. Your mistress destroyed my car, and you're worried about me being crude. She's not thinking clearly. She's emotional. I take full responsibility for not being more direct with her about ending things. Ending things. Elena's voice was flat. So you were planning to end it? I already did. Last week. That's why she reacted so badly. Reacted badly. She committed a felony, Derek. She vandalized my car while I was 7 months pregnant with your child. That's not reacting badly. That's criminal. I know. He rubbed his face. I'll pay for the damages. I'll talk to her. Make sure she gets help. The police are already handling it. Elena, you can't press charges. Think about what this will do to my reputation, to my business, to our family. Our family, like they still had one, like he hadn't burned it to the ground. I have to go to the police station this morning, Elena said. They want both of us there to give statements. I can't. I have meetings all day. Cancel them. I can't just cancel them, Derek, or I'll tell the detective that you refuse to cooperate. He stared at her. She stared back. Something passed between them. An understanding. The balance of power had shifted. Fine, he said finally. What time? 10 o'clock. He nodded and closed his laptop. I need to make some calls. After he left, Elena sat at the kitchen table and tried to remember the last time she'd felt happy in this house. Really happy. Not pretending, not making the best of things. Actually happy. She couldn't remember. The doorbell rang. Elena heaved herself up and answered it. Rachel stood on the porch with coffee and donuts. I brought contraband, Rachel said. Real coffee, sugar, all the things your doctor says you shouldn't have. You're a gift from God. They sat in the living room. Elena took one sip of real coffee and almost cried with relief. How are you doing? Rachel asked. I don't know. I feel numb, like this is happening to someone else. That's shock. Probably. Elena bit into a chocolate donut. We have to go to the police station at 10. Derek's coming with me. Want me to drive you? No, I can drive Derek's car. Mine is still in the impound lot, or wherever they took it. Okay, but I'm coming with you for moral support. You don't have to. I'm coming. Elena didn't argue. Having Rachel there would help, would make everything feel less overwhelming. At 9:30, Derek came downstairs wearing a suit, his lawyer suit, the one he wore when he wanted to intimidate people. Navy blue, crisp white shirt, red tie. Ready? He asked. Elena looked down at her maternity jeans and oversized sweater. I'm not changing. I didn't ask you to. They drove to the police station in silence. Rachel followed in her own car. When they arrived, Detective Morrison was waiting in the lobby. Mrs. Harper, Mr. Harper. She nodded at them. Thank you for coming. Let's use the conference room. The conference room was small and windowless. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Detective Morrison sat across from them with a thick file folder and a laptop. Mr. Harper, I need to get your statement about yesterday's incident. Derek leaned forward. All business now. Detective, I understand my wife's car was damaged. That's unfortunate, but I don't think pressing charges is necessary. This was obviously an emotional outburst. I'm willing to pay for all damages and ensure Ms. Kane gets the help she needs. Mrs. Kane committed a felony, Mr. Harper. Multiple felonies, actually. This isn't a civil matter that can be resolved with money. I understand that, but let me show you something. Detective Morrison turned her laptop around. This is the security footage from the hospital parking garage. She pressed play. Elena watched Derek's face as he saw Brittany systematically destroying the car. His expression didn't change much. A slight tightening around his eyes, a muscle jumping in his jaw. When the video ended, Detective Morrison folded her hands on the table. That's not an emotional outburst, Mr. Harper. That's premeditated destruction of property. She brought tools. She took her time. She posed for photos. She even spray-painted messages on the car. I understand it looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It is bad. And here's what makes it worse. The detective pulled out several printed screenshots. Ms. Kane posted these on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, multiple platforms. She posted a selfie with the destroyed car and captioned it, "Karma for stealing someone's man." She tagged your wife's Facebook profile. Elena felt her face go hot. She tagged me? Yes, and she's been getting comments, lots of them. People cheering her on, calling you the homewrecker, saying you deserved it. Rachel grabbed Elena's hand under the table. Derek's face had gone pale. I didn't know she posted it. There's more. Detective Morrison pulled out more screenshots. She's been stalking your wife. Look at these photos. Mrs. Harper leaving the hospital, at the grocery store, walking to her car, all taken over the last 2 months. Elena stared at the photos, pictures she hadn't known existed, someone following her, watching her, documenting her movements. This wasn't a crime of passion, Detective Morrison said. This was planned, deliberate. Ms. Kane has been fixated on your wife for months. Derek sat back in his chair. He looked genuinely shaken now. I had no idea. Mr. Harper, I need to ask you some questions about your relationship with Ms. Kane. I want my lawyer present. You're not under investigation, but if you'd feel more comfortable with counsel, that's your right. Derek pulled out his phone. Give me 10 minutes. He left the conference room. Elena could hear him in the hallway, voice low and urgent. Detective Morrison looked at Elena. How are you holding up? I don't know. Seeing those photos, Elena's hands shook. I had no idea she was following me. That's common with stalking. The victim doesn't realize it's happening until it escalates. Is that what this is? Stalking? Based on the evidence, yes. And combined with the property destruction and the online harassment, we have a strong case. Rachel squeezed Elena's hand. What happens next? We'll arrest Ms. Kane. She'll be arraigned. Given the severity of the charges and the online evidence, the judge will likely grant a restraining order. Ms. Kane won't be able to contact Mrs. Harper or come within 500 feet of her. What about Derek? Rachel asked. Can she contact him? That's up to Mr. and Mrs. Harper. Derek came back into the room. My lawyer is on his way. 20 minutes. They waited. Elena stared at the photos spread across the table. Pictures of herself, grocery shopping, walking to prenatal appointments, living her life completely unaware that someone was watching, hating her, planning to hurt her. The baby kicked. Elena put her hand on her belly. Are you okay? Derek asked quietly. No. He nodded, looked away. Derek's lawyer arrived. Expensive suit, expensive briefcase, expensive cologne that filled the small room. His name was Richard something. Elena didn't catch the last name. My client won't be answering any questions without understanding the full scope of this investigation, Richard said. Your client isn't under investigation, Detective Morrison repeated patiently. We're gathering information about the relationship between him and Ms. Kane. Still, I advise him not to comment. Derek looked at his lawyer, then at Elena, then at the photos on the table. I'll answer your questions, he said. Richard's jaw tightened. Derek, I'll answer them. Detective Morrison pulled out a fresh notepad. How long have you been involved with Ms. Kane? Since January, 8 months. And the nature of your relationship? We were seeing each other romantically. Were you aware that your wife was pregnant during this time? She got pregnant in February, so yes. Did Ms. Kane know about the pregnancy? Yes, I told her early on. How did she react? Derek hesitated. She was upset. She thought I would leave my wife. Did you tell her you would leave your wife? Another pause, longer this time. I might have implied it early on, when things were intense. Elena's nails dug into her palms. Might have implied it. When did you decide to end the relationship? Detective Morrison asked. A few weeks ago, when Elena started showing, when it became real that we were having a baby, I realized I had made a mistake. And how did Mrs. Kane react when you ended things? She didn't take it well. She called me constantly. Showed up at my office, threatened to tell Elena everything. Did she threaten physical violence? Not explicitly, but she said things like, I'll make you sorry and she doesn't deserve you. Did you report these threats? No, I thought I could handle it. Detective Morrison wrote everything down. Her pen scratched across the paper. The sound was loud in the quiet room. Mr. Harper, one more question. Did you give Miss Kane any gifts during your relationship? Yes. Some jewelry. Took her to nice restaurants. Anything purchased with joint marital funds? Derek's face went red. Possibly. I don't remember. We'll need access to your financial records, joint accounts, credit cards, to establish the full extent of the relationship and any potential financial fraud. Financial fraud? Richard leaned forward. Detective, there's no indication your client used marital assets to conduct an affair. That's financial fraud in a divorce proceeding. And given that Mrs. Harper is 7 months pregnant, a judge will take that very seriously. Derek looked at Elena, really looked at her. She saw something in his eyes, fear. He was finally realizing the consequences. Elena, I'm sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. She didn't respond, just stared at him. This man she'd loved, this man she'd married, this stranger who'd destroyed their life. Mrs. Harper, Detective Morrison said gently, "Do you need a break?" Elena shook her head. "I want to see the rest. You said there was more evidence?" "Yes, but I should warn you, some of it is difficult." "Show me." Detective Morrison pulled up more social media posts, screenshots from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all from Brittany's accounts. Just took out the trash. Sometimes karma needs a helping hand. When the side chick is actually the wife, and the wife was the side chick all along. Who's laughing now? To the woman who trapped my man with the baby. I hope your kid knows what you did. Hatch, baby, trap, karma, has mine. Post after post, hundreds of them, going back months. All about Elena, all painting her as the villain. And in the comments, hundreds of people agreeing, cheering Brittany on, calling Elena horrible names. Rachel made a small sound, like she'd been punched. Elena just stared. This woman, this stranger, had created an entire narrative where Elena was the villain, where Brittany was the victim, and people believed it. "We'll be requesting all of these posts as evidence," Detective Morrison said, "and we'll be charging Ms. Kane with cyberstalking and online harassment in addition to the property destruction." "How long will she go to jail?" Rachel asked. "That depends on the judge, but with this much evidence, multiple felonies, she'll likely serve time." Derek stood up abruptly, his chair scraped against the floor. "I need some air." He left. Richard followed him. Elena sat very still. The baby kicked. Hard. Like she was angry. Like she knew her mother was upset and didn't like it. "I'm sorry," Detective Morrison said softly. "I know this is overwhelming. I just want to go home." "Okay. We have everything we need for now. I'll call you when we arrest Ms. Kane. That should happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. Rachel helped Elena stand. They walked out to the parking lot. Derek was leaning against his car, phone pressed to his ear. When he saw them, he ended the call. "Elena, can we talk?" "No, please. Just 5 minutes." "I said no, Derek." He grabbed her arm, not hard but firm, stopping her. "Elena, let go of me. We need to figure this out. Let go of my arm right now or I'll call Detective Morrison back out here." He released her, stepped back. His face was a mask of frustration and fear. "This is all my fault," he said. I know that, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll do whatever you need. Please don't throw away 4 years of marriage." Elena looked at him. This man who'd shared her bed, who'd gotten her pregnant, who'd promised to build a life with her. "You threw it away," she said quietly. "Not me. You." She got in Rachel's car. As they drove away, Elena looked back once. Derek stood in the parking lot, hands in his pockets, watching them go. She turned away and didn't look back again. Rachel drove Elena home in silence. When they arrived, Derek's car wasn't in the driveway. "Thank God," Rachel muttered. "I don't think I could handle looking at him right now." They went inside. Elena sank onto the couch. Every part of her body ached. The baby had been kicking for hours, restless, uncomfortable. "I should call my parents," Elena said. "They need to know what happened." "Are you sure? Maybe wait until tomorrow. Process everything first." "No, they'll find out eventually. Better if they hear it from me." Elena pulled out her phone, stared at her father's contact. Commissioner Robert Sullivan. She'd saved his name like that as a joke when she was a teenager. Thought it was funny to have her dad listed officially in her phone. Now it just felt strange. Her father, the police commissioner. Head of 3,500 officers, one of the most powerful men in the city. She'd spent her adult life trying to prove she didn't need his help, didn't need his name or his connections. She'd become a nurse on her own merit. Married Derek despite her father's quiet reservations. Built her own life. But looking at that name now, Elena realized something. She didn't want to hide this. Didn't want to protect Derek from consequences. Didn't want to handle it quietly like a good wife. She wanted help. She wanted her father. She wanted someone who could protect her and her daughter. Before she could dial, her phone rang. Detective Morrison. Mrs. Harper, I have some news. What is it? I just spoke with my captain. Before I could tell him about the case, he asked me about the victim's name. When I said Elena Harper, he asked if you were related to Commissioner Sullivan. Elena's heart stopped. How did he know that? Standard protocol. Any crime involving family members of senior officials gets flagged. Are you Commissioner Sullivan's daughter? Yes. Silence on the other end of the line. Then Detective Morrison let out a long breath. Mrs. Harper? Elena, I need to tell you something. Your father already knows about the incident. What? I called him this morning. It's policy. Any crime involving immediate family of the commissioner gets reported directly to him. He's been in his office for the last 3 hours reviewing the case file. Elena's vision blurred. He knows? Yes, and he's waiting for you to call him. Why didn't he call me? I think he wanted you to come to him when you were ready. He didn't want to push. Elena ended the call, stared at her phone. Her father knew, had known since this morning, had been sitting in his office, reading about how his pregnant daughter's car got destroyed by her husband's mistress. What's wrong? Rachel asked. My father knows. The police told him. He's been waiting for me to call him all day. Oh, honey. Elena felt tears burning behind her eyes. She'd wanted to tell him herself, wanted to control the narrative. But of course the police had protocol. Of course they'd notified him immediately. She dialed his number. He answered on the first ring. Elena, just her name, but she could hear everything in it. Relief, rage, love, protection, worry. Daddy, her voice broke on the word. She hadn't called him that since she was 10 years old. Where are you? Home, Rachel's with me. I'm coming to get you. You don't have to. I'm already in the car. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up. Elena set the phone down. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. Your grandfather is coming, Elena whispered to her belly, and he's going to fix everything. Rachel made tea. Elena sat at the kitchen table and waited. She felt strange, detached, like she was watching herself from a distance. When the doorbell rang, she didn't move. Rachel answered it. Commissioner Robert Sullivan stood in the doorway, not in his uniform, wearing jeans and a polo shirt. Just Dad, not the commissioner. He was 58 years old, tall, still fit despite a career spent mostly behind a desk. Gray hair cropped short, blue eyes that missed nothing. Those eyes found Elena across the room, took in her swollen belly, her pale face, her trembling hands. He crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled her into his arms. Elena broke. The tears she'd been holding back all day finally came. She sobbed against her father's chest. He held her tight, one hand on her back, the other cradling her head. I've got you, he murmured. I've got you, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to know. I wanted to handle it myself. You have nothing to apologize for. Nothing. He held her until the tears stopped, until her breathing steadied, until the baby stopped kicking so frantically. Rachel brought tissues. Elena wiped her face, sat down. Her father sat across from her. I read the police report, he said. I saw the security footage. I saw what that woman did to your car. Derek's been having an affair with her since January. I know. I got pregnant in February. I know, sweetheart. Everyone probably knew except me. No, his voice was firm, hard. If I'd known, I would have told you immediately. Your mother would have told you. We didn't know. Elena nodded. She believed him. Her parents loved her, would never have let her be hurt like this if they'd known. What do I do now? She asked. That's up to you, but I can tell you what I think should happen. What? I think you should press full charges against Brittany Kane. I think you should file forced divorce. I think you should move back home until the baby is born. And I think you should let me help you. I don't want to be the commissioner's daughter who needed daddy to save her. He reached across the table and took her hand. You're not being saved. You're being protected. There's a difference. What happened to you was a crime, a serious crime. And the person who committed it needs to face consequences. Derek wants me to drop the charges, says it will ruin his reputation. Her father's expression went cold. Derek's reputation is the least of my concerns. He committed adultery while his wife was pregnant. He used marital funds to conduct an affair, and his mistress committed multiple felonies against my daughter. If anything, I'm showing remarkable restraint by not having him investigated too. Elena blinked. Investigated for what? Financial fraud, misuse of marital assets. Depending on what Detective Morrison finds in your bank records, he could face charges. I don't want him to go to jail. I just want him to leave me alone. That's your choice. But Elena, I need you to understand something. This isn't just about Derek anymore. Brittany Kane committed serious crimes. She stalked you, harassed you online, destroyed your property, and she did it while you were 7 months pregnant. A judge will take that very seriously. Good. So you'll press charges? Yes, he nodded, satisfied. Then here's what happens next. Detective Morrison will arrest Mrs. Kane, probably tomorrow. You'll need to file for a restraining order. That's separate from the criminal case. It prevents her from contacting you or coming near you. What about Derek? That's up to you. Do you want a restraining order against him too? Elena thought about it. Derek hadn't been violent, hadn't threatened her. He just lied, cheated, destroyed their marriage. Not yet, but if he keeps pushing me to drop the charges, then yes. Fair enough. Her father stood. Pack a bag. You're coming home with me tonight. I don't need to. Elena, please. Your mother is worried sick. Let us help you. She looked around the house. The home she'd thought they were building together. Every room held memories that were now tainted. The kitchen, where Derek had proposed. The living room where they'd picked out furniture together. The nursery she'd prepared with such hope. Okay, she said quietly. I'll pack a bag. Rachel helped her gather clothes, toiletries, important documents. They worked in silence. When Elena's suitcase was full, her father carried it to his truck. I'll come by tomorrow to get more of your things, Rachel said. Whatever you need. Thank you. For everything. That's what best friends are for. Elena hugged her, then got in her father's truck. As they drove away from the house, she looked back once. The windows were dark, empty, like the life she'd been living there. They drove to her parents' house, the colonial where Elena had grown up, where she'd learned to ride a bike in the driveway, where she'd gotten ready for prom, where she'd come home for holidays and Sunday dinners. Her mother, Margaret, was waiting on the front porch. 56 years old, former prosecutor, steel magnolia personified. Beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. She took one look at Elena's face and pulled her into a fierce hug. We're going to fix this, Margaret said. All of it. Elena let herself be led inside, to her childhood bedroom, the room her mother had kept exactly as she'd left it when she moved out. Pink walls, trophies from high school debate team, photos of friends, her nursing school diploma on the wall. I set up a crib in here, her mother said, just in case. I had a feeling you might need it. Elena looked at the white crib in the corner, next to her childhood bed, a symbol of everything coming full circle. Thank you, Mom. Get some rest. We'll talk in the morning. After her parents left, Elena lay down on her childhood bed. The baby kicked, gentler now, like she could sense they were safe. Elena put her hand on her belly. We're going to be okay, she whispered. I promise. For the first time in months, she believed it. Elena woke to sunlight streaming through pink curtains. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality crashed back. Her childhood bedroom, her parents' house, her destroyed marriage. The baby kicked. Morning stretch. Elena had started thinking of the kicks as conversations. Good morning, Mama. I'm awake now. Good morning, sweetheart, Elena whispered back. She heard voices downstairs, her parents, and someone else. A woman's voice she didn't recognize. Elena got dressed slowly. Her body felt heavy, exhausted, like she'd run a marathon in her sleep. At 7 months pregnant, everything was harder. Getting out of bed, putting on shoes, existing. When she came downstairs, she found her parents sitting at the kitchen table with 5 women she barely knew, wives of her father's colleagues. She recognized a few faces from department functions. Elena, one of the women stood. Patricia something, wife of the deputy commissioner. Elegant, mid-50s, kind eyes. We hope you don't mind us coming by. No, it's fine. We heard what happened, another woman said. Jennifer, we've been making some phone calls. Elena sat down. Her mother poured her a glass of orange juice. The women exchanged glances. Her father stood. I'll leave you ladies to talk, he said. Call me if you need anything. After he left, Patricia slid a folder across the table. Brittany Kane, 25 years old, lives in Westchester. Her father pays her rent, $3,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment in White Plains. How do you know that? Elena asked. We have resources. Patricia smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. And we've been doing research. Jennifer pulled out more papers. Her father is Richard Kane, real estate investor, very wealthy, very connected. And here's where it gets interesting. He's Derek's business partner. Elena's stomach dropped. What? They've been working together on 3 developments over the last 2 years. Retail spaces, apartment complexes. Richard Kane provides financing. Derek handles development. So Derek's mistress is his business partner's daughter. Yes, which makes this whole situation much more calculated than a simple affair. Another woman spoke up. Diane, maybe. Elena was having trouble keeping track of names. We pulled property records. Your house, the one you live in, it's worth $3 million, and it's solely in your name. It was my grandmother's house. She left it to me. Exactly, which means Derek has no legal claim to it. But if you were to divorce, he'd want his share of marital assets. That house is your biggest asset. Elena's head spun. What are you saying? Patricia leaned forward. We think Derek and Richard Kane have been planning this. The affair, the pressure, getting you to look unstable. They were building a case. A case for what? For custody and for control of your property. The room went silent. Elena heard her own heartbeat, felt the baby kick, hard, insistent. They wanted to take my baby? We don't have proof yet, Jennifer said carefully, but the pattern fits. Derek isolates you, makes you feel crazy. His mistress escalates, destroys your car. You have a breakdown, end up hospitalized. Derek gets emergency custody. You're declared unfit. He gets the baby. He gets the house. He gets everything. That's insane. Is it? Patricia's voice was gentle but firm. Think about it, Elena. He's been gaslighting you for months, making you doubt yourself. You told your mother last week that you thought you were losing your mind. Elena's mother nodded. You said you kept forgetting things, losing track of conversations. I thought it was pregnancy brain. But now it looks like he was doing it on purpose. Patricia tapped the folder. This is textbook psychological abuse. Isolate the victim. Make her doubt her reality. Then when she breaks, swoop in and play the hero. Elena felt sick. He was going to try to take Grace? We think so, but honey, he was never going to succeed. How do you know? Her father came back into the room. His face was granite. Because we know what they were planning, and we're going to stop them. Daddy, did you know about this? I suspected, after I read the police report and saw the timing of everything. So I made some calls last night. He sat down next to her. Richard Kane has been pressuring Derek for months to buy you out of the house, to push you to sell or transfer ownership. Derek refused, said you'd never agree. So Richard sent his daughter to destroy my marriage? We don't know if he sent her, but Brittany's not stupid. She saw an opportunity. Derek's married to a woman who owns a $3 million property. If she can get Derek to divorce you, marry her, she gets access to that money. So does her father. But the house is mine, legally mine. In a divorce, Derek would argue for a share. He's lived there for 2 years, made improvements, paid utilities. A judge might give him something. How much? Maybe $500,000, maybe more. Elena stood up so fast her chair fell over. They were going to steal my grandmother's house, take my baby, destroy my life for money? Her mother caught her arm. Sit down, you need to stay calm, for the baby. Elena sat, put her hands on her belly, felt her daughter moving, swimming. unaware of the ugliness happening around her. "What do I do?" she asked. "You fight back," Patricia said. "That's what we do. The Police Officers' Wives Association. We protect our own." "I'm not married to a police officer. You're the commissioner's daughter. That makes you one of us." Patricia's smile was fierce. "And we take care of family." For the next hour, the women laid out a plan. It was thorough, strategic, ruthless. First, hire the best divorce attorney in the state. Patricia already had a name: Jonathan Graves. Expensive but worth every penny. Second, file for restraining orders. Against Brittany immediately. Against Derek if necessary. Third, document everything. Every text message, every email, every financial transaction. Build an airtight case. Fourth, freeze all joint accounts. Prevent Derek from moving more money. Fifth, secure the house. Change the locks. It was Elena's property. She had every legal right. "This is war," Jennifer said bluntly. "And in war, you need a strategy." "I don't want revenge," Elena said carefully. "I just want justice." "Justice is revenge when it's done right," Diane said. "You're not asking for anything unreasonable. You want custody of your child, protection from a woman who stalked and harassed you. And you want to keep the property that's legally yours. That's not revenge. That's survival." Her father nodded. "Sweetheart, these women are right. You need to be strategic. Derek and the Canes are already several moves ahead. We need to catch up and get ahead of them." "Okay," Elena took a deep breath. "Okay, tell me what to do first." "First, you call Jonathan Graves. I already spoke with him last night. He's expecting your call." Her mother handed her a business card. "He said he can see you today if you're available." "I'm available." The women left an hour later. Before they went, each one hugged Elena, gave her their phone numbers, told her to call day or night if she needed anything. After they left, Elena sat with her parents in the living room, her father in his recliner, her mother on the couch next to Elena. "I didn't want this," Elena said quietly. "I didn't want to be the daughter who needed her father to fix everything." "You're not," her father said. "You're the daughter who was targeted by criminals. There's a difference. Everyone will say I only won because of you, because of your position. Let them say it. You know the truth. And so does everyone who matters." And Elena looked at her mother. "Did you know about Derek? Did you suspect?" Her mother was quiet for a long moment. "I didn't know about the affair, but I knew something was wrong. He was different at Christmas. Distant. And when you announced the pregnancy, his reaction was off, not excited, just obligated. Why didn't you say anything?" "Because you loved him, and I wanted to be wrong. I wanted him to be the man you thought he was." Her mother's voice cracked. "I'm sorry, I should have said something." "No," Elena squeezed her hand. "You did the right thing. If you'd said something before I had proof, I would have defended him, made excuses. I had to see it myself." They sat in silence. The morning sun slanted through the windows. Elena could hear birds outside, cars passing on the street, normal sounds, normal day, like the world hadn't just tilted on its axis. Her phone buzzed. "Derek, we need to talk. I want to explain everything." Elena showed the message to her father. He read it and frowned. "Don't respond, not until you talk to Jonathan." "What if he keeps calling?" "Then you block him. You don't owe him anything right now." Elena nodded, turned her phone face down. The baby kicked. Elena wondered if Grace could sense the stress, the anger, the fear. "I'm sorry," she whispered to her belly. "I'm sorry you have to grow up with this." Her mother moved closer, put her arm around Elena's shoulders. "Your daughter is going to grow up knowing her mother is strong, that she didn't let anyone treat her badly, that she stood up for herself and for her child. That's not a bad lesson. I just wanted her to have a normal family." "She'll have a family that loves her. That's better than normal." At 2 o'clock, Elena met with Jonathan Graves. His office was downtown, 15th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, expensive furniture, expensive art on the walls. Jonathan Graves himself was mid-40s, sharp suit, sharper mind. He shook Elena's hand and gestured for her to sit. "Commissioner Sullivan filled me in on the basics," he said, "but I need to hear everything from you. Start at the beginning." Elena told him everything: the affair, the pregnancy, the destroyed car, the social media posts. The stalking photos, the business partnership between Derek and Richard Kane, the suspected plot to gain control of her property. Jonathan took notes, asked questions. His expression never changed. Professional, clinical, like he'd heard worse. When she finished, he sat back in his chair. They made three critical mistakes. First, the affair while you were pregnant. New York is technically a no-fault state, but infidelity still matters in asset distribution. Second, the financial fraud, moving marital assets to hide them. Third, and most importantly, the conspiracy to gain control of your separate property through duress. Can we prove the conspiracy? Between the police investigation, the social media evidence, the business partnership, and the timing of everything? Yes, we can prove it. What happens now? Now we go on offense. We file for divorce immediately. Full custody, full ownership of the marital residence, child support, spousal maintenance. We hit him with everything at once. He'll fight back. Let him. He's got nothing. You've got documentation, police reports, witness statements. He's the one who cheated. He's the one whose mistress committed multiple felonies. No judge in this state will side with him. What about Brittany, the criminal charges? That's separate. Detective Morrison handles that. But we'll use it in the divorce proceedings. Shows Derek's judgment, his character, his priorities. Jonathan pulled up a calendar on his computer. I can have the divorce papers filed by end of business today. He'll be served tomorrow. That fast? That's how we keep the advantage. He won't have time to prepare, to hide more assets, to build a defense. Elena thought about Derek getting served with divorce papers. The shock on his face, the realization that he'd underestimated her. Do it, she said. Good. One more thing. Restraining orders. Do you want one against Derek? Not yet, just Brittany. Okay, I'll file the motion for an emergency restraining order this afternoon. Given the evidence, the judge will grant it immediately. Brittany won't be able to contact you. Can't come within 500 feet. Can't post about you online. What if she violates it? Then she goes to jail. Violating a restraining order is a criminal offense. They talked for another hour, went through finances, property, custody arrangements, child support calculations. By the time Elena left, she felt like she'd been through a war, but for the first time in days, she felt like she was fighting back. The story broke on the evening news. Elena was eating dinner with her parents when her mother's phone started buzzing. Then her father's. Then Elena's. Turn on channel 7, her father said. The news anchor's face filled the screen. Professional, serious. Breaking news tonight. A White Plains woman has been arrested for destroying a pregnant nurse's car and posting about it on social media. The victim, we've now learned, is the daughter of Police Commissioner Robert Sullivan. Elena's stomach dropped. They used her name, her father's title. Her face appeared on screen. A photo from the hospital website, her nursing ID picture. The screen switched to footage of Brittany being led out of her apartment in handcuffs. She was screaming, fighting against the officers, her blonde hair wild, her makeup smeared. No, this is wrong. She's the homewrecker. She trapped him. The anchor's voice continued. Brittany Kane, 25, was arrested this afternoon and charged with a criminal mischief in the first degree, aggravated harassment, and stalking. Bail was set at $100,000. More footage. The destroyed car, the security video, Brittany taking selfies with the wreckage. Kane posted photos of the vandalism on multiple social media platforms, calling it karma. She also posted photos she'd taken of the victim over several months, showing a pattern of stalking behavior. Elena's phone exploded. Text messages, calls, emails, fellow nurses from the hospital offering support, old high school friends, distant relatives she hadn't spoken to in years. Her mother muted the television. This is good. Public sentiment will be on your side. I didn't want it to be public. I know, sweetheart, but this protects you. Now everyone knows what happened. Derek can't control the narrative. Elena's phone rang. Derek. She rejected the call. He immediately texted. You told the news. You're destroying my career, my reputation. How could you do this to me? Not, I'm sorry. Not, are you okay? Just anger, blame. like she was the one who'd done something wrong. Another text. My office has been flooded with calls all day. Clients are pulling out of deals. This is your fault. Elena showed the messages to her father. His face went hard. Block him. Nay, Dad. But block him. He's harassing you, blaming you for consequences of his own actions. Block him. Elena blocked Derek's number. Immediately, her phone stopped buzzing with his messages. The relief was instant. Rachel called. Are you watching the news? Unfortunately. Elena, it's everywhere. Every local channel. It's trending on Twitter. People are on your side. People are also calling me a homewrecker. I saw the comments. Ignore those. The truth is out now. Everyone knows what really happened. After Rachel hung up, Elena scrolled through social media. She shouldn't have. She knew she shouldn't have, but she couldn't help it. The comments on news articles were split. Half the people supported her, called Brittany crazy, said Elena deserved justice. The other half called Elena a liar, said she must have done something to deserve it, said she probably cheated first, said she was using her father's position to persecute an innocent woman. But what made Elena's blood run cold was Brittany's response. Brittany had posted a video from jail. Someone must have smuggled her a phone, or she'd posted it before she got arrested and scheduled it to go live. Elena clicked play. Brittany's face filled the screen, tear-stained, makeup smeared, hair disheveled. But her eyes were wild, manic. I'm the real victim here, Brittany said to the camera. Elena Harper trapped Derek with a baby. She knew he didn't love her. She knew we were meant to be together. So she got pregnant on purpose, to trap him, to keep him from me. She wiped her eyes, smeared mascara across her cheeks. And now she's using her father's position to destroy me. The police commissioner's daughter. Of course she gets special treatment. Of course everyone believes her lies. Brittany leaned closer to the camera. Her voice dropped, intimate, confiding. But I know the truth. Derek loves me. He told me he was leaving her. We were going to be together. We were going to have a life, and she ruined everything. The video ended. Elena felt nauseous. This woman, this delusional woman, actually believed what she was saying. She's completely detached from reality, her mother said. She'd been watching over Elena's shoulder. Or she's exactly who she's always been, Elena said quietly. And nobody ever told her no. The doorbell rang. Her father went to answer it. Elena heard voices, then footsteps. Detective Morrison appeared in the living room. She looked tired, stressed. I'm sorry to bother you. I wanted to give you an update in person. What happened? Brittany made bail. Her father posted it 2 hours ago. Elena's heart sank. She's out? Yes, but she's wearing an ankle monitor, and the restraining order is in effect. She can't come within 500 feet of you. She can't contact you directly or indirectly. She can't post about you online. What about that video? Her lawyer took it down, but the damage is done. It's been shared thousands of times. So everyone thinks I'm a liar who trapped my husband with a baby. No, most people see through it. The video makes her look unstable, desperate. It actually helps your case. Detective Morrison sat down. There's something else. We searched her apartment, found some disturbing things. Like what? A folder full of photos of you, printed out, some of them marked up, crossing out your face, writing things like, he's mine and get rid of her. Elena felt cold. She was planning something. We think so. We also found evidence she was pregnant. The room went silent. What? Elena whispered. A positive pregnancy test, recent, from about 3 weeks ago. Elena's vision blurred. The baby kicked, hard, like she could sense her mother's distress. Brittany's pregnant? Was. We don't know if she still is. She refused a medical exam, but if she is, that adds another layer to this. She was going to try to replace me. Elena's voice was hollow. Completely. The affair, the baby, my house, my life. She wanted everything. Yes. Detective Morrison's voice was gentle. But she didn't get it, and she won't. The evidence against her is overwhelming. After the detective left, Elena sat in silence. Her mother made tea. Her father paced. Neither of them knew what to say. Elena's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. You think you won? You think Daddy can protect you? Wait and see. Elena showed it to her father. He immediately called Detective Morrison back. She's violating the restraining order, he said into the phone. Yes, just now. I'm sending you a screenshot. He hung up. The police are going back to her apartment. If she sent that message, she's going back to jail. What if it wasn't her? What if it was Derek? Then he's going to jail too. You have a restraining order. No one can contact you. Not directly, not through proxies. Anyone who does faces criminal charges. Elena went upstairs to her childhood bedroom. Lay down, stared at the ceiling. The baby kicked rhythmically, like a heartbeat. She put her hand on her belly. We're safe, she whispered. We're safe here. But she didn't feel safe. She felt exposed, vulnerable, like the whole world was watching her life fall apart on television. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. I just want to talk. Please, 5 minutes. That's all I need. Derek, using a different phone, trying to get around the block. Elena didn't respond. Just took a screenshot and sent it to Detective Morrison. Within an hour, police showed up at Derek's apartment. Elena didn't know what they said to him, but the messages stopped. That night, Elena lay in bed and Googled signs of emotional abuse. She'd been avoiding it, not wanting to see, not wanting to know. But now she looked. Every article was a mirror. Every checklist was her marriage. Isolation from family and friends. Check. Making you doubt your reality. Check. Controlling finances. Check. Blaming you for their behavior. Check. Making you feel crazy. Check. She'd been living in a burning building and telling herself it was just warm. Elena closed her laptop, put her hands on her belly, felt her daughter moving, swimming, growing. I'm getting us out, she whispered. I promise. She fell asleep with one hand on her belly and one hand clutching her phone, just in case. Morning brought more visitors, not police this time. Women Elena barely knew. Nurses from the hospital, neighbors from her old street, even the receptionist from her obstetrician's office. They came with food, casseroles, cookies, soup. More food than Elena could possibly eat. We just wanted you to know we support you, one nurse said. Sarah from the pediatric ward. What happened to you was wrong, and we're here if you need anything. After they left, Elena sat in the kitchen surrounded by containers of food. Her mother was labeling everything and finding space in the freezer. People are good, her mother said. When something bad happens, you find out who your real friends are. I don't even know half those women. They know you. They know what you stand for. And they want to help. Rachel arrived mid-morning with coffee and bagels. She took one look at all the food and laughed. You're going to need a second freezer. Or a third. Elena bit into a bagel. I can't believe how many people came by. You're not alone, Elena. That's what everyone is trying to tell you. They were eating when Patricia arrived, the deputy commissioner's wife. She had Jennifer with her, and 3 other women Elena didn't recognize. We have news, Patricia said without preamble. Can we sit? They gathered in the living room. Elena's father joined them. This felt official, important. We did more digging, Jennifer said, into Derek and Richard Kane's business relationship, and we found something interesting. She pulled out a thick folder. They've been planning a major development, luxury condos, downtown, prime location. The project is worth about $50 million. Okay. They need collateral for the construction loan. The bank wants assets worth at least $5 million to back the loan. Elena's stomach dropped. My house. Yes, your house is worth $3 million. With some other properties Richard owns, they'd have enough collateral. But the house is mine. Derek can't use it as collateral. Not legally, but if you were married, if you were on good terms, you might sign paperwork without reading it carefully. A lot of wives do, especially if their husbands tell them it's just routine business documents. Elena thought back. Had Derek asked her to sign anything recently? She couldn't remember. Everything from the last few months was a blur. I don't think I signed anything. Good, but they were probably working up to it. The affair, the psychological pressure, making you feel unstable. If you'd had a breakdown, been hospitalized, Derek could have gotten power of attorney. Then he could sign documents on your behalf. This is insane. This is real estate fraud, her father said quietly. And if we can prove it, Derek and Richard Kane could both face criminal charges. Another woman spoke. Elena thought her name was Diane. We also found something else. Richard Kane's daughter, Brittany. She was fired from her last 2 jobs. Sexual harassment. She had affairs with married bosses. Both times the men's wives found out. Both times she retaliated. How? First wife had her car keyed. Nothing was proven. Second wife's house was egged repeatedly. Again, nothing proven. But the pattern is there. So she's done this before. Yes, she targets married men, wealthy married men. Then when things don't go her way, she lashes out at the wives. Elena felt sick. I wasn't even her first victim. No, but you'll be her last, because this time we have evidence. Video, social media posts, witness statements. She's not walking away from this. Patricia leaned forward. Elena, I need to tell you something. This is going to get worse before it gets better. Derek and the Kanes have money, resources. They'll fight back. Hard. I know. But so will we, the Police Officers' Wives Association. We protect our own, and you're one of us now. I'm not married to a police officer. You're the commissioner's daughter, that's enough. Patricia smiled. It was fierce, protective. We take care of family. The women left an hour later. Before they went, they each gave Elena their phone numbers, told her to call anytime, day or night. After they left, Elena felt strange, supported, protected, but also exposed. She wasn't used to people knowing her business, wasn't used to needing help. Her father must have sensed her discomfort. It's okay to accept help, sweetheart. I know, it just feels weird. That's pride, and pride is good, but so is community. Let them help you. Elena nodded. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. She was running out of room in there. Only 2 months left until her due date. 2 months to figure out her entire life. Her phone rang. Jonathan Graves. Elena, I have an update. Derek's been served with the divorce papers. How did he react? According to the process server, not well. He tried to refuse service. Said he wanted to talk to you first. The server explained that's not how it works. What happens now? He has 30 days to respond, but I expect his lawyer will contact me much sooner. They'll want to negotiate. I'm not negotiating. Good, you shouldn't. You're in the strongest position. You have documentation, evidence, police reports. He has nothing. They talked through next steps, court dates, custody hearings, financial disclosures. It was overwhelming, exhausting. After she hung up, Elena went outside. Her parents' backyard was peaceful, quiet, trees swaying in the breeze, birds singing, normal sounds. She sat on the old swing set, the one from her childhood. It creaked under her weight. She pushed off gently. The motion was soothing, rhythmic, back and forth, like she was trying to swing herself back to a time when things made sense. The baby kicked. Elena put her hand on her belly. Your grandpa built this swing set when I was 5, she said out loud. I spent hours out here, swinging as high as I could, trying to touch the sky. The baby kicked again, stronger. You're going to swing on this someday, with your grandpa pushing you, and your grandma watching to make sure you don't fall. Tears slid down Elena's face. Not sad tears, something else. Relief, maybe. Gratitude. She wasn't alone. Her daughter would have family, love, protection. Even if Derek was gone, even if they were divorced, even if everything was broken, Grace would still have a family. Rachel came out and sat on the swing next to her. They swung in silence for a few minutes. You're going to be okay, Rachel said finally. I know. No, I mean it. You're going to be more than okay. You're going to be great. How do you know? Because I know you. You're the strongest person I know, and you're going to teach your daughter to be strong too. Elena wiped her eyes. I just wanted her to have a normal family. She'll have something better. She'll have a mother who refused to accept less than she deserved. That's worth more than normal. They swung until the sun started to set. Then they went inside. Elena's mother had dinner ready. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans, comfort food. They ate as a family. Elena, her parents, Rachel, talking about everything except the divorce, the affair, the criminal charges, just normal conversation. Work, books, movies. For a few hours, Elena felt almost normal. After dinner, her father pulled her aside. I need to tell you something. Derek called my office today. Elena's stomach tightened. What did he want? To talk. He said you were being unreasonable, that you weren't giving him a chance to explain. What did you tell him? I told him that my daughter doesn't owe him anything, and if he contacts you or me or anyone in this family again, I'll have him arrested for harassment. Thank you, Daddy. He hugged her, strong, protective. I should have trusted my instincts about him. I knew something was off. I should have said something. No, you did exactly what you should have done. You trusted me to make my own choices. That was right. But you got hurt, and now I'm getting stronger. That night, Elena lay in bed thinking about everything that had happened. The destroyed car, the affair, the conspiracy, the women who'd rallied around her. She put her hand on her belly, felt Grace moving, swimming, growing. We're going to be okay, she whispered. Better than okay. We're going to be strong. For the first time since this nightmare started, Elena believed it. The next week passed in a blur of legal meetings, attorney conferences, court filings, financial disclosures. Elena spent hours with Jonathan Graves going through every detail of her marriage, every purchase, every decision, every lie. Derek's lawyer called repeatedly, trying to negotiate, trying to get Elena to drop some of the demands. Full custody was unreasonable, they said. Spousal maintenance was excessive. She was being vindictive. Jonathan shut them down every time. Your client committed adultery while his wife was pregnant, conspired with his business partner to defraud her of her property, and his mistress committed multiple felonies. Mrs. Harper is showing remarkable restraint by only asking for what's legally hers. The restraining order hearing was set for Friday. Elena would have to face Brittany in court. The thought made her nauseous. You don't have to testify, Jonathan said. We have enough evidence without your testimony. No, I want to. I want to look her in the eye. Okay, but be prepared. Her lawyer is going to try to make you look like the villain. That's his job. Let him try. Friday morning arrived. Elena dressed carefully. Maternity dress. Nice but not too nice. Professional. She wanted to look like what she was. A pregnant nurse. A victim. Not the commissioner's pampered daughter. Rachel drove her to the courthouse. Her parents were already there, sitting in the front row of the gallery, her father in his uniform, her mother in a sharp suit, showing solidarity. Patricia and the other police wives filled another row, a wall of support. Derek sat on the opposite side, with his lawyer. He didn't look at Elena when she walked in. Brittany sat with her lawyer. She cleaned up, hairstyled, makeup perfect, wearing a conservative dress, playing the role of innocent victim. When their eyes met, Brittany smiled. It wasn't friendly, it was challenging, like she still thought she could win. Judge Catherine Walsh entered, mid-50s, stern expression. She'd been a family court judge for 20 years. She'd seen everything. This is a hearing for an emergency restraining order, Judge Walsh said. Ms. Kane is accused of criminal harassment, stalking, and destruction of property against Mrs. Harper. I've reviewed the evidence submitted. We'll hear testimony from both sides. Brittany's lawyer went first. His name was Thomas Reed. Expensive suit, slick smile. Your Honor, my client is the victim of a smear campaign orchestrated by Mrs. Harper and her powerful family. Ms. Kane made a mistake, a regrettable mistake. She damaged some property in a moment of emotional distress. But she's being persecuted because of who the victim is, the police commissioner's daughter. Of course, everyone believes her side of the story. He called Brittany to the stand. She walked up slowly, carefully, like she was fragile, wounded. She placed her hand on the Bible and swore to tell the truth. Ms. Kane, can you tell us what happened on the day in question? Brittany's voice was soft, trembling. I was upset. Derek, Mr. Harper, had just broken up with me, after promising we'd be together. I felt betrayed, hurt. I wasn't thinking clearly. Did you damage Mrs. Harper's car? Yes, I did. And I regret it deeply. I was having a breakdown. I needed help. Instead, I'm being criminalized. Were you aware that Mrs. Harper is the police commissioner's daughter? No, not until I was arrested. Then everything made sense. Why the police came so quickly, why they treated me like a dangerous criminal. Because she has connections, power. And what about your relationship with Mr. Harper? Can you describe it? We were in love for 8 months. He told me his marriage was over, that his wife was cold, distant, that she trapped him with a pregnancy to keep him from leaving. Elena's fingernails dug into her palms. He said he was going to file for divorce as soon as the baby was born. We made plans, talked about our future, then suddenly he ended things, said it was a mistake, that he owed it to his wife to try. Brittany wiped her eyes, real tears this time, or good acting. I felt used, discarded, like I was nothing to him. So yes, I damaged her car, and I'm sorry. But I don't deserve to be stalked by police, arrested like a criminal, all because she has a powerful father. Thomas Reed sat down, looking satisfied. Jonathan Graves stood. He didn't smile, didn't play nice, just got straight to business. Ms. Kane, you said you damaged Mrs. Harper's car in a moment of emotional distress. How long did this moment last? I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Let's look at the security footage. He played the video, every second of it. Brittany methodically destroying the car, taking her time, posing for photos. Does that look like a moment of distress to you, Ms. Kane? Or does it look premeditated? I was upset. You brought tools, a tire iron, spray paint. You brought these items with you? Yes, they were in my car. Why were they in your car? I don't remember. You don't remember. Convenient. Jonathan pulled up the social media posts. What about these posts? You captioned one photo karma for stealing someone's man. You tagged Mrs. Harper. That doesn't sound like someone having a breakdown. That sounds like someone proud of what they did. Brittany's lawyer objected. Your Honor, my client was clearly not in her right mind. Overruled. Answer the question, Miss Kane. Brittany's mask started to slip. Her voice got harder. She deserved it. She trapped him with a baby. He was going to leave her. We were going to be together. But Mrs. Harper has been married to Derek Harper for 4 years. She didn't steal anyone, unless you believe you had a claim to him first. He loved me. He told me he loved me. Did he tell you he was married? Yes, but did he tell you his wife was pregnant? Yes. And you pursued the relationship anyway? Brittany realized her mistake, tried to backtrack. He said his marriage was over. I believed him. I see. So you believed him when he said he'd leave his wife. But now you blame Mrs. Harper for trapping him. Which is it, Miss Kane? Was he a victim or a willing participant? Both. She trapped him, but he loved me. Jonathan pulled out more evidence. The stalking photos, the threatening messages, the pregnancy test found in her apartment. Were you pregnant, Miss Kane? Her face went white. That's private medical information. Is it? Because we found a positive pregnancy test in your apartment. 3 weeks old. Were you planning to trap Mr. Harper with a baby? Just like you accused Mrs. Harper of doing? Objection! Thomas Reed jumped up. This is harassment of my client. Your client accused Mrs. Harper of the exact thing she was planning to do herself. I think that's relevant, Your Honor. Judge Walsh leaned forward. I'll allow it. Answer the question, Ms. Kane. Brittany's composure cracked completely. She doesn't deserve him. She's cold and boring, and she only got pregnant to keep him. I actually love him. We were supposed to be together. So you destroyed her car to, what, prove your love? I wanted her to feel what I felt, to hurt like I hurt. By threatening a pregnant woman? By destroying property clearly intended for a baby? Brittany started crying, real tears now, but not sad tears, angry tears, frustrated tears. She has everything, the husband, the house, the baby, and I have nothing. It's not fair. Jonathan sat down. No further questions. The damage was done. Brittany's mask had completely fallen. The jury could see who she really was. Not a victim, a jealous, entitled woman who wanted someone else's life. After a short recess, Jonathan called Elena to the stand. She walked up slowly. 8 months pregnant now, her belly huge, impossible to ignore. She swore to tell the truth and sat down carefully. Mrs. Harper, tell us about the day your car was destroyed. Elena took a deep breath. I was at my prenatal appointment, getting an ultrasound, seeing my daughter on the monitor. Everything looked perfect. The doctor said she was healthy, growing well. Her voice was steady, calm. She'd practiced this. When I went to the parking garage, my car was destroyed. Every window broken, the tires slashed, words carved into the hood calling me a homewrecker, and the baby's car seat was shredded. How did that make you feel? Terrified, confused. I didn't understand who would do this, who hated me enough to destroy not just my car, but my baby's seat. When did you find out it was Ms. Kane? When the police showed me the security footage, I recognized her immediately. She works for my husband. I'd met her at company events. Had you known about the affair? No, I suspected something was wrong, but I didn't have proof until that day. Can you describe the last few months of your marriage? Elena paused, gathered her thoughts. This was the hard part. I thought I was losing my mind. Little things kept happening. Conversations I didn't remember having. Money missing from accounts. My husband being distant, angry. But every time I questioned it, he told me I was being paranoid. Hormonal. That pregnancy was making me irrational. She looked directly at Brittany. I remember sitting in my car after my prenatal appointments, unlocking my phone to call my husband, then locking it again, over and over, because I was afraid. Afraid he'd tell me I was crazy, that I was imagining things. Her voice cracked slightly, but she kept going. I'd replay conversations in my head, trying to figure out what I'd done wrong, what I'd said to make him pull away. I started keeping notes, writing down what was said, when, because I didn't trust my own memory anymore. When did you realize it wasn't in your head? When my car was destroyed, when I saw the evidence, the affair, the stalking photos, the social media posts. Suddenly everything made sense. It wasn't me, it was him. It was her. They were gaslighting me, making me doubt my reality. And I fell for it because I loved him, because I wanted to believe the best. Elena's hands rested on her belly. Grace was kicking, strong, steady. But then my car was destroyed, and everything became clear. This wasn't about love. This was about control, about what he wanted, about what they planned to take. She looked at Judge Walsh. I'm not asking for revenge. I'm asking for protection. For my daughter, for my property, for my peace. They targeted a pregnant woman because they thought I was vulnerable, because they thought being the commissioner's daughter meant I'd been spoiled. Weak. Her voice got stronger, firmer. But they were wrong. Being my father's daughter didn't make me weak. It taught me to fight. It taught me that justice matters. And it taught me that people who hurt others need to face consequences. She looked at Derek. He was staring at his hands. I don't want revenge. I want my daughter to grow up safe. I want my property protected. I want to move on with my life without fear. That's all. Jonathan nodded. No further questions. Thomas Reed stood for cross-examination. Mrs. Harper, isn't it true that you used your father's position to expedite this case? No, I filed a police report like anyone else would. But your father is the police commissioner. Surely that influenced how the police handled your case. The police handled my case based on the evidence. Video footage, social media posts, stalking photos. That's not influence. That's documentation. But you can't deny that being the commissioner's daughter gives you advantages. Elena looked him straight in the eye. Being the commissioner's daughter gave me access to resources, legal advice, support, but it didn't create the evidence. Ms. Kane did that all by herself when she destroyed my car and posted about it online. Thomas tried a few more times. Tried to make Elena look privileged, vindictive, using her connections unfairly, but every answer was calm, reasonable. She didn't get defensive, didn't get angry, just stated facts. Finally, he gave up. No further questions. Judge Walsh called a 15-minute recess. Then she returned with her decision. I've reviewed all the evidence, testimony from both parties, documentation, video footage, social media posts, police reports. She looked directly at Brittany. Ms. Kane, your actions were not a moment of emotional distress. They were calculated, premeditated, and cruel. You targeted a pregnant woman, you stalked her, you harassed her online, you destroyed property intended for a child. These are serious crimes, Viz. Brittany started crying again. The restraining order is granted. You are prohibited from contacting Mrs. Harper directly or indirectly. You cannot go within 500 feet of her. You cannot post about her on social media. You cannot contact her family or friends. If you violate this order, you will be arrested immediately. She banged her gavel. Additionally, I'm ordering a full mental health evaluation. You will undergo psychiatric assessment before your criminal trial proceeds. Brittany's lawyer started to object, but Judge Walsh cut him off. This isn't a suggestion, Mr. Reed, it's an order. Your client's behavior shows signs of delusional thinking and obsessive fixation. She needs help. Court was adjourned. Elena stood slowly. Her back ached. The baby was kicking up a storm. Rachel hugged her. You did it. Her father hugged her next. I'm proud of you, sweetheart. Her mother just held her. Tight, protective. It's over now. The worst part is over. But as they left the courthouse, Elena saw Derek standing by his car, watching them. His expression was unreadable. Their eyes met for just a moment. Then he got in his car and drove away. Elena realized she felt nothing. No love, no hate, no sadness, just nothing. That part of her life was over. The man she'd loved was gone, if he'd ever really existed at all. Let's go home, she said. And for the first time in months, when she said home, she meant her parents' house, not the house she'd shared with Derek. That place held too many ghosts, too many lies. Home was where people loved her, protected her, believed her. Home was where she was safe. 3 weeks passed. The divorce proceedings moved forward. Slowly but steadily, Derek's lawyer tried every tactic: delay, negotiate, plead. None of it worked. Jonathan Graves was relentless. Every time Derek's lawyer proposed something, Jonathan shut it down with evidence. Financial records showing Derek's fraud. Text messages showing his lies. Witness statements showing his pattern of abuse. Elena went back to work part-time. The hospital had been understanding, gave her flexible hours, let her work from home when needed. Her colleagues rallied around her, made sure she wasn't alone, protected her. Brittany's criminal trial was set for next month. She'd been evaluated by a psychiatrist, diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Her lawyer was pushing for a mental health defense, saying she wasn't responsible for her actions. The prosecutor wasn't buying it. Neither was Elena. She knew exactly what she was doing, Elena told Detective Morrison. She brought tools, she planned it, she posted about it. That's not insanity. That's calculated revenge. The detective agreed. Don't worry. We have a strong case. She'll serve time. Elena's due date was 3 weeks away. She felt enormous, uncomfortable, ready to meet her daughter and reclaim her body. She'd moved most of her belongings out of the house she'd shared with Derek. Rachel and Patricia had helped. They'd gone through every room, packed everything that was Elena's, left everything that was Derek's. The house felt empty now, just walls and furniture, no memories anymore. Elena had taken those with her, the good ones anyway. Derek had been staying at a hotel. His lawyer said he wanted to see Elena, to talk, to explain. Elena refused. There was nothing he could say that would change anything. The divorce would be final in 2 months. They'd never have to see each other again, except for supervised visitation with Grace. And even that would be minimal. Then Elena got a call from Jonathan Graves. Derek's lawyer wants to meet, says they have a settlement proposal. I'm not settling. I know, but I think we should hear them out. Sometimes people surprise you when they're backed into a corner. The meeting was at Jonathan's office. Elena arrived with her father. They decided it was better to have him there, for support, for protection, to remind Derek who he was dealing with. Derek sat with his lawyer, Richard. They both stood when Elena entered. Derek looked terrible, thinner, dark circles under his eyes. His suit didn't fit right anymore. Good, Elena thought. Let him suffer. They sat across from each other. The table between them felt like a canyon. Richard spoke first. Mrs. Harper, Commissioner, thank you for agreeing to meet. My client would like to make a proposal. I'm listening, Jonathan said. Mr. Harper is willing to agree to all of Mrs. Harper's terms. Full custody, full ownership of the marital residence, child support at the maximum rate, spousal maintenance for 5 years. Elena blinked. All of it? Yes. In exchange, he asked for 2 things. First, supervised visitation with his daughter every other weekend. Second, Mrs. Harper agrees not to pursue criminal charges for financial fraud. He committed fraud, her father said. He moved marital assets, hid money, conspired with Richard Kane. My client regrets his actions, Richard interrupted. He's willing to make full restitution. Return all funds, plus interest. He just doesn't want to face criminal charges. Elena looked at Derek. He was staring at his hands, couldn't meet her eyes. Why should I agree to this? She asked. Derek finally looked up. Because I'm sorry. Because I know I destroyed everything. Because our daughter deserves better than a father in prison. Our daughter deserves better than a father who's a liar and a cheat. I know. His voice cracked. I know, but I want to try. I want to be part of her life, even if I don't deserve it. Elena felt nothing, no sympathy, no softening, just cold assessment. I need to think about it. Of course, Richard said quickly. Take all the time you need. They left. Elena sat in Jonathan's office, staring at the settlement proposal. What do you think? Her father asked. I think he's scared. He knows if the fraud charges go forward, he could lose everything. His license, his business, his freedom. Probably, Jonathan agreed. But that doesn't mean you should let him off the hook. I know. Elena put her hand on her belly. Grace was quiet, sleeping maybe. But I need to think about what's best for her, not what feels good for me. She thought about it for 2 days. Talked to her mother, to Rachel, to Patricia. Everyone had opinions. Most said make him suffer, make him pay. But Elena kept coming back to one question. What would Grace want? When she was old enough to understand, when she asked about her father, what would Elena want to be able to say? That she destroyed him, sent him to prison, took everything, or that she chose justice without cruelty? That she protected herself and her daughter without becoming vindictive? On the 3rd day, Elena called Jonathan. I'll accept the settlement with conditions. What conditions? He returns every penny he moved, plus 20% interest. He agrees to supervise visitation, but I control the schedule. He can't challenge it, and he signs a statement admitting to the affair and the conspiracy, on the record. So if he ever tries to rewrite history, we have documentation. He'll agree to that. He doesn't have a choice. The paperwork was signed a week later. Elena didn't attend, didn't want to see Derek again. Jonathan handled everything. When it was done, he called her. It's official. You're getting everything you asked for. The house, full custody, child support, everything. What about Brittany's trial? Next week. Are you planning to attend? No, I gave my statement to the prosecutor. That's enough. I don't need to see her again. Good, let the justice system do its job. The trial was short, 3 days. The evidence was overwhelming. Security footage, social media posts, stalking photos, witness statements, the psychiatric evaluation that showed Brittany understood her actions but couldn't control her impulses. The verdict came back, guilty on all counts. Sentencing was set for 2 weeks later. The prosecutor called Elena with the results. 18 months in county jail, 3 years probation after that. Mandatory therapy, restraining order permanent, and she's required to write a formal apology to you. She doesn't have to, but if she violates any of these terms, the sentence increases to 5 years in state prison. 18 months seems short. It's not a violent offense. First conviction, the judge took her mental health issues into account. But trust me, 18 months in county is no joke. In 3 years probation means any slip-up sends her straight to prison. Elena felt satisfied, not happy, not vindicated, just satisfied. Justice had been served, not revenge, justice. The apology letter arrived a week later. Elena almost threw it away without reading. Then curiosity got the better of her. Dear Mrs. Harper, I am writing to apologize for my actions. I destroyed your car. I stalked you. I harassed you online. I caused you pain and fear during what should have been a happy time in your life. I was wrong. I let my feelings for Derek cloud my judgment. I convinced myself you were the villain in a story where I was the victim. But the truth is, I was the one who pursued a married man. I was the one who chose to believe his lies. And I was the one who lashed out when things didn't go my way. You didn't deserve what I did to you. Your daughter didn't deserve to grow up knowing her mother was targeted by someone who should have known better. I hope someday you can forgive me. But I understand if you can't. I'm getting help. Learning to take responsibility for my actions. Trying to become someone better than the person who hurt you. I'm truly sorry. Brittany Kane. Elena read it twice, then folded it up and put it in a drawer. She didn't know if the apology was genuine, didn't really care. It was done. Over. That chapter of her life was closed. She had more important things to focus on, like the fact that she was now 9 months pregnant, officially full term, ready to give birth at any moment. And 3 days later, at 2 in the morning, her water broke. The contractions started slowly, dull aches in her lower back. Elena lay in bed timing them, 15 minutes apart, then 12, then 10. At 3 a.m., she got up. Her mother heard her moving around and appeared in the doorway. Is it time? I think so. Contractions are 8 minutes apart. Her mother smiled, calm, steady. I'll wake your father. Get your bag. Elena had packed her hospital bag weeks ago. She grabbed it from the closet. Her hands were shaking. Not from fear, from anticipation. Finally, after 9 months, after everything, she was going to meet her daughter. The drive to the hospital was quiet. Her father drove carefully. Her mother sat in the back with Elena, holding her hand through each contraction. At the hospital, they were taken to a labor and delivery room. The nurse checked Elena's dilation. 4 centimeters, still early labor. Could be a few more hours, the nurse said cheerfully. First babies take their time. Rachel arrived at 5 a.m., brought coffee for everyone except Elena, who was restricted to ice chips. She sat on one side of the bed, Elena's mother on the other. Where's Dad? Elena asked between contractions. Waiting room. He said some things fathers don't need to see. Elena laughed. Then another contraction hit, stronger this time. She gripped the bed rails and breathed through it. The hours blurred together, walking the halls to help labor progress, sitting on a birthing ball, breathing exercises. The pain intensified, waves of pressure that took her breath away. At 10 a.m., she was 7 centimeters dilated. The contractions were coming every 2 minutes. Long, intense, all-consuming. You're doing great, her mother said. Not much longer now. Elena wasn't sure she could do this. The pain was extraordinary, like nothing she'd experienced. She thought about asking for an epidural. Then another contraction hit, and she couldn't speak. Rachel wiped her forehead with a cool cloth. You've got this. You're so strong. I don't feel strong. That's because you're doing the hardest thing a human body can do. But you're doing it one contraction at a time. At noon, the doctor came in. You're fully dilated, 10 centimeters. It's time to push. Elena's mother squeezed her hand. You can do this, sweetheart. The pushing was worse than the contractions. Every muscle in her body strained. The doctor coached her. The nurses encouraged her. Rachel and her mother held her hands. I can't, Elena gasped. I can't do it. You are doing it, the doctor said. I can see her head. One more push. Elena gathered every ounce of strength she had left, pushed with everything in her, and suddenly, relief. Pressure released. A baby's cry filled the room. It's a girl, the doctor said. A beautiful baby girl. They placed her on Elena's chest. Tiny, perfect. screaming her fury at being born. She had dark hair, Elena's nose, tiny fingers that gripped Elena's thumb with surprising strength. "Hi, Grace," Elena whispered. "I've been waiting to meet you." Grace stopped crying, opened her eyes, dark blue, unfocused, but looking right at Elena. "That's your mama," Rachel said, crying. "She fought so hard for you." The nurses took Grace to clean her up and weigh her. 7 pounds, 4 ounces, 20 inches long, perfect APGAR scores, healthy, strong. When they brought her back, wrapped in a pink blanket, Elena cradled her close, breathed in that newborn smell, felt the weight of her daughter in her arms. "What's her full name?" the nurse asked. Elena looked at her mother, then at Grace's tiny face. "Grace Sullivan Harper." Not just Harper, Sullivan too. Her family's name, her strength, her protection. "That's beautiful," the nurse said, writing it down. Elena's father was allowed in once Elena was cleaned up and settled. He stood in the doorway for a moment, this hard man, this tough police commissioner. His eyes were wet. "Come meet your granddaughter," Elena said. He crossed the room slowly, carefully, like he was afraid to break something. Elena placed Grace in his arms. He looked down at his granddaughter. 7 pounds of possibility, of future, of hope. "Hello, Grace Sullivan Harper," he said softly. "I'm your grandfather, and I promise you no one will ever hurt you. Not while I'm here to protect you." Grace yawned, stretched, settled into his arms like she belonged there. They stayed for an hour, taking turns holding Grace, marveling at her tiny features, her perfect fingers and toes, the way she gripped their hands when they touched her palm. Then the nurses shooed everyone out. Mama needs rest, and baby needs to eat. After they left, Elena tried nursing for the first time. It was awkward, difficult. Grace latched on eventually. The sensation was strange, but also right, natural. This was what her body had been preparing for. When Grace fell asleep, milk-drunk and peaceful, Elena held her against her chest, felt the tiny heartbeat, the soft breathing, the absolute trust of a newborn who knew her mother would keep her safe. Elena's phone buzzed. She'd turned it off during labor, but someone had turned it back on. A text from Derek. "Can I come see her?" Elena stared at the message. This man, this stranger who was technically Grace's father, he wanted to meet his daughter. She should say yes, should let him have this moment. But she wasn't ready. Not today, not right now. This day was hers, Grace's, their families. She typed back, "Not today. When I'm ready, we'll arrange supervised visitation through our lawyers." His response came immediately. "Please, just 5 minutes. I want to meet my daughter." "No, not today." She blocked his number, put the phone away. She'd deal with Derek later. Right now, she just wanted to exist in this bubble with her daughter. Over the next 2 days, visitors came and went. Rachel, Patricia, and the police wives bringing flowers and gifts, nurses from the hospital. Even Detective Morrison stopped by with a stuffed bear. "She's beautiful," Sarah said. "Congratulations." "Thank you for everything. Just doing my job, but I'm glad it worked out. You deserve to be happy." On the 3rd day, they went home. Elena's parents' house. The nursery her mother had set up was ready. Crib, changing table, rocking chair, everything Grace would need. Elena settled into a routine. Feed Grace every 3 hours, change diapers, sleep when the baby slept. It was exhausting, all-consuming, but also peaceful, simple. Just her and Grace and her family. Derek's lawyer called, requesting visitation. Elena agreed to supervise visits, once a week, 2 hours, at a neutral location with a social worker present. The first visit was awkward. Derek held Grace like she might break, stared at her like he couldn't believe she was real. Grace slept through most of it. When she woke, she cried until Elena took her back. "She doesn't know you," Elena said simply. "Give her time." Derek came once more, then twice more, then stopped. Said work was too busy. He'd reschedule. He never did. By Grace's 2-month checkup, Derek had seen his daughter a total of 4 times. Held her for maybe 3 hours total. Elena stopped expecting him to show up. So did Grace. The divorce was finalized when Grace was 3 months old. Elena signed the papers at Jonathan's office. Quick, Clean, done. She was no longer Mrs. Derek Harper, just Elena. Elena Sullivan Harper, mother, nurse, survivor. 6 months after Grace was born, Elena went back to work full-time. Her mother helped with childcare. Rachel was Grace's godmother. Patricia and the other police wives treated Elena like family. They had coffee every Tuesday morning. Elena and Patricia and whoever else could make it. They talked about everything, kids, work, life. They never treated Elena like the commissioner's daughter, just like Elena. One morning, Patricia asked, "Are you dating?" Elena laughed. "I have a 6-month-old. I haven't slept more than 4 hours straight in half a year. I don't have time to date." Fair enough, but someday, when you're ready, there are good men out there. Maybe, someday, when Grace is older. But honestly, Elena wasn't sure she wanted to date. Being alone didn't feel lonely anymore. It felt peaceful, powerful, like she'd reclaimed herself. Sometimes Elena drove past couples in cars, holding hands, laughing, and she didn't feel jealous, didn't feel like she was missing something. She felt sorry for the version of herself who'd thought that's what love looked like, who'd thought she needed another person to be complete. Now she knew better. That kind of completion was actually just erasure. Love shouldn't make you disappear. It should make you more yourself. Elena was more herself now than she'd ever been. She got updates on Brittany occasionally, heard she'd been released from jail after serving her full sentence, was living with her mother, working retail, banned from social media as part of her probation. Her father mentioned once that Richard Kane's business had collapsed. The development deal with Derek had fallen through. Both men were being audited for financial fraud. Derek's real estate company was struggling. He'd lost clients, lost reputation, lost everything he'd been trying to protect. Elena felt nothing about it. No satisfaction, no vindication, just distance. That part of her life was closed. Done. Over. Grace was her present, her future. Everything else was just noise. On Grace's first birthday, they had a party. Small, intimate, just family and close friends. Grace wore a pink dress and a tiny crown. Smashed her hands into birthday cake with pure joy. Derek didn't come. Said he had to work. Sent a card with the check. Elena deposited the check into Grace's college fund and threw away the card. That night, after everyone left, Elena rocked Grace to sleep in the nursery, the one in her parents' house, the one that had become theirs. "Someday I'll tell you this story," Elena whispered. "Not to scare you, but to teach you something I wish I'd known earlier." Grace made a small sound, settled deeper into sleep. "I'll teach you that being kind doesn't mean being quiet. Being loving doesn't mean being passive. Being pregnant didn't make me weak. It made me a warrior. Your existence gave me strength I didn't know I had." Elena kissed Grace's forehead, soothed down her dark hair, so much like Elena's. "I'll teach you that your worth isn't measured by who wants you. It's measured by who you are when you're alone. And sweetheart, when it's just you and me, I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be." She put Grace in her crib, stood watching her sleep for a moment. This perfect little person, this gift, this reason for everything. "Being the commissioner's daughter didn't save me," Elena said quietly. "But being my father's daughter taught me how to save myself." She turned on the baby monitor and left the door cracked open. Went to her own room, got ready for bed. Tomorrow she'd go back to work, drop Grace at her mother's house, see patients, save lives, be a nurse, be a mother, be herself. Tonight she was just grateful. For her daughter, for her family, for the strength she'd found in the darkest time. She'd gone through fire and come out forged in steel, and she'd never been stronger. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. If Elena's story resonated with you, if you've ever felt gaslit or manipulated or made to doubt your own reality, I want you to know something. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. Trust your instincts. They're usually right. And if you found yourself rooting for Elena, hoping she'd find her strength and protect her daughter, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Let me know this story connected with you. Drop a comment telling me what you thought. Did you see the twist coming? What would you have done in Elena's situation? I read every single comment and I love hearing your perspectives. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's doubting themselves, someone who needs to know that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. And if you want more stories like this, real stories about real people finding strength in impossible situations, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell because I post new stories every week. Stories about people who refused to be victims, who chose justice over revenge, who found their power when everything seemed lost. Elena's story isn't just about a destroyed car or a cheating husband or a delusional mistress. It's about a woman who discovered that being vulnerable doesn't mean being weak, that asking for help doesn't mean you failed, that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stand up and say enough. Grace is 3 years old now, by the way, happy, healthy, surrounded by people who love her. Elena went back to school, got her nurse practitioner license. She's thriving. Derek, last I heard, his business never recovered. He sees Grace twice a month, supervised visits. He's still paying child support, still paying for his choices. Brittany completed her sentence. She's in therapy, working on herself. She wrote Elena one more letter last year, a real apology this time. Elena read it, then filed it away. Some chapters are meant to stay closed, but Elena, she's living proof that you can go through fire and come out forged in steel. So if you're going through something right now, if you feel like your world is falling apart, remember Elena's story. Remember that the darkest moments often come right before breakthrough. You're stronger than you know, and you deserve better than settling for people who make you doubt that. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next story.